The dark psychology of transformation. You see, you're probably wondering how I went from being ignored like this to being married at peace with a woman who respects me and a daughter that will never see me beg for love. You see, and in this video I'm going to show you how. I never felt alone in a relationship. I want you to sit with that, because I've had that plenty of times. And what's crazy about it is I thought that I was the guy that always liked to be in relationships. And the problem is because I didn't know who I was without them. So I needed them to define me. So I was willing to accept the bare minimum because at least I knew I was someone's boyfriend. Someone wanted me, or at least tolerated me. In that space, I was also a man that was doing quite well in terms of his career. You know, I found my feet. I was in sales, estate agency, one of the biggest companies in the UK. And I was one of the top salesmen there. And it's funny because there was this comparison where I felt like I was a hero at work just to come home to invisibility and rejection and just indifference. There was a deal in particular that I will never forget. I sat down. This guy owned a multi-million-pound house and he was considering going with different agents, and he sat me down and he asked me, okay, why should I go ahead with you? And I said to him this, I said, listen, what are the other guys offering? So I was offering 1.5. The other agents were offering like 0.75. And I said to him this, I said to him, listen, here's the deal. You can go ahead with them. You really can. But you gotta ask yourself, are these people gonna fight for your fee the way I'm fighting for my agents to give you that fee? I want you to ask yourself this. I want you to ask yourself, if these people who are willing to take a cut are not gonna be the same people asking you to take a cut once they find someone that fits or matches the box or ticks the box. The difference between me and them is what you see here is what you get. Once you're in my corner, I'm gonna fight for your fee. And that's why I charge what I charge. Now, if they can go out there and get you the fee they want instead of pretending that this is just a simple transaction for them, hey, by all means, go ahead with them. But if you want someone to fight your corner, then it starts right now. With the person that isn't willing to budge just because someone else has offered them less. He went ahead with me. That was a good tactic, isn't it? I couldn't get her to reply. So how is it that I'm speaking to millionaires and being able to negotiate with them, but when it came to my own ex-partner, this is the message I was getting. Please call me back in 10 minutes. Or, yeah, I can't speak to you right now, I'm recording. You see, I remember the exact moment my friend's dad just died. And I messaged her. I didn't get a response. I called her to share. I didn't get a response. I was sharing, before making this video, I was showing my wife these text messages, and she was like, this just looks bad. Like, did she hate you? And there's such a difference between the communication I have with my wife and the communication I had with my ex. And The only difference, to be honest with you, is I hated myself for allowing that to happen. But I think the idea of good people just being good as long as you're good, it's a myth. If you allow certain things to happen, they will happen. I love my wife and we have a great relationship. But I know that one of the biggest things about our relationship is that we both know we don't mess around with our boundaries. She knows that I'm not the guy to be double texting you, triple texting you without a response. That's just not in me. The awareness of this at first made me angry. Because the question was, how could someone treat me like this? How is it that I'm willing to do this for this person and I know I wouldn't even get half back? But then awareness turned into neutral because I understood that both sides are true. You see, the truth of the matter is that this is the reality about neutrality. Someone is fully aware once they can look at both spectrums, not just the negative one. If you're angry about something, it's because you're only looking at one side of the coin. If you're neutral, it's because you can see the two sides and you can make a clear decision because of it. And when I got into that space where I was aware of the fact that I said what I said, I wasn't angry at her, I was angry at myself. I let that happen. I allowed certain things. I should have said, listen, you do this, I'm gone. It's as simple as that. And that would have either fixed it or made space for someone that can actually handle the boundaries that I'm setting. Which are not in crazy. I'm not asking for the moon. I'm just saying, if I speak, respond. If we talk, let's talk. If you can't talk right now, let me know and we set a time. Right? What makes it worse is that this was a long distance relationship too. So my only way to get through was through talking. Never doing that again. If you're in a long distance relationship, listen, it may work. But yeah, it wasn't gonna work for me. The truth is, I had the tools to lead, right? And what made it worse is that I knew I could do it. I just wasn't able to do it in the place that actually mattered to me. And the problem is, I didn't realize I was doing exactly what I knew wouldn't work at work. Which is me trying to be liked, me trying to be chosen when I needed to be respected and I needed to be valued for what I was able to present or provide. The truth of the matter is this, yeah? I want to take you on this journey because a lot of us find ourselves blaming our partners or ex-partners. And I remember keep hoping that one day she'll understand, that one day she'll change. And of course she never did. But that's not her fault. You see, the truth of the matter is that we go into apples and expect them to all of a sudden operate like oranges. She told you who she was from the very start. You just thought you could change her. And the truth of the matter is, people become what their habits determine. I'm going to say it again. People become what their habits determine. You want to see someone that's going far? Let them change their habits. See how quickly they do that. And that's someone that's going far. You want to know the opposite? Look how long it takes them to change their habits. Look how long it takes them to execute their habits. You see, when you lead from wounds instead of standards, you become blind to the things that allow you to see clearly. And what I was blind to was these three things mainly, all right? And of course there was more, but these are the things that I know keep a lot of men bleeding. Number one, you think performance earns peace. You're under the impression that if you keep winning at work, love will follow. It's like a domino effect. And I had a comment. This guy said, "Oh, well, if Jeff Bezos can't do it, then what choices do I have?" And I stood there and I made a video for it. Like, I had to give it to him, right? The truth of the matter is this. This just highlights how truly ignorant we are in the matter of love. They do not correlate. Just because you make more money doesn't mean you're going to get luckier in love. They have nothing to do with each other. One is an internal space world, and the other one is outside, is external. You just get to have more choices. Money doesn't mean much. I'm sorry. Money itself just gives you the freedom to do what you should be able to you should have been able to set when you didn't have it. That's all money is. So you basically need to become the person that can handle the money before the money comes in. That's why if you don't, you're gonna go broke because you don't know how to handle it, or you didn't have a plan for it in the first place. So, and that is pretty much the same with love. You've got to create a space for you to be the husband or partner you want to be, or be the father you want to be, right? And it starts with you imagining what that looks like, taking active steps to procreate or create that man, right? Based on your habits, like I said earlier. Number two, try to be her safe space without being your own. We've been taught, and I'm going to say this until it's drilled in. I think that's my legacy. We are under the impression that masculinity says men don't deal with emotions. And I want to change the complete picture for you. I want you to picture this. You are a man that is in a battlefield and has deliberately decided not to carry weapons to that battlefield. If you're not emotional as a man, which is impossible because emotions don't have a gender, every man feels emotions. But if you now decide to completely ignore, deny, or reject your emotions, when it's now time for you to feel them, acknowledge them, or use them, you won't know what to do with them because you ignore them most times. I want you to imagine managing your emotions as parenting. And it works well because I'm actually a dad now. I can't believe I'm actually a dad. I don't actually share with you guys. I need to start sharing this stuff. But yeah, guys, I've got a 4-month-old and yeah, things are great. So when you're a dad and you're a parent, let's just say you're a parent, your child isn't just going to listen to what you say because you said it. Your child is going to listen to you if they see you do what you said you're going to do, if they know that not listening to you has consequences, and most importantly, if they can truly resonate with your voice. As in, your voice causes them to see how what they're saying or what they're doing affects how you move and what you're doing. And most importantly, it kind of like directs them into wanting to do things differently, right? So you've influenced your world so well that has influenced theirs. That's the transition. And best example I've got is my dad, right? So when I used to get terrible grades at school, or I wouldn't do so well with my performance in school, I remember my mom would be very like, you need to just scream and shout, and yeah, it hurt more than caused a change. And my dad's approach was completely different. He was like, okay, what are you gonna do about it? You're just gonna sit here and not take action? And one made me think about my actions. One gave me the time to process what I was feeling, but most importantly, what did my next steps look like? And because I was able to envision this and I was guided into potentially the right step, it was easier for me to now say, you know what? I gotta do things differently here. This isn't gonna work. And I remember in particular, I was an angry kid growing up. So it was a time where I punched a window of a shop. And my mom just gave me the dead stare, like it was just like, I will kill you if you keep going like this. And then my dad was like, what happened? And I explained to him someone stole my phone and another from his situation at home. And I knew that I didn't want to inconvenience you guys. And losing that phone inconvenienced me badly, and I need a phone, so losing that made me feel like I was pressuring you guys more than, what's the word? I was pressuring them more than they needed to. And he said, yeah, but there's better ways to handle this, right? And that conversation alone made me realize, and I still remember it to this day. I was expecting you to grill me. I was expecting you to shout at me. I was expecting you to just destroy me. You had every right to. I broke a window and then you guys ended up paying for it. And that was the very thing I was trying to dodge. And his approach literally transformed me, because I was in a space where, again, let's take it back to the emotions. I was able to now say to myself, do you know what? These emotions I'm feeling, let's treat them like I'll treat a child. My child. And funny enough, a lot of those emotions happen to be managed by your inner child. So you speaking to your inner child, you confronting your inner child, you challenging your inner child will actually do a lot more good than you think, right? So let's have a practical example. You are speaking to this child and the child's angry, and you're saying, okay, you're angry. I get it. You have every right to. What are you going to do now with that anger? You're going to use it for good? You're going to use it for bad? What are you going to use it for? And that there is game changing. Right. I can only do this. Anyways. Mistake number 3. Waiting for her to validate you before you lead. You see, you don't need permission to lead. What you need to do is you need the conviction to stop folding. And this actually goes into a controversial topic where women feel like men need to earn their respect. No, you don't. As a guy, the best way to look at it is you don't need to earn shit. You just need to be you. And you need to stop asking for permission to do so. And when I say be you, I'm not saying be authentic or what that nonsense. No, I'm saying own yourself fully. Stop apologizing for owning yourself. Okay? Now, the truth of the matter is that after the depression hit, as you can imagine, I realized that I've been taken for a fool in all aspects. The main one was, of course, relationship. I had to admit the truth. No one was coming. And the reason why no one was coming is because I had built this cage where I made sure no one else could come, because on the outside, I'm the one that fixes things. I'm the one that has everything sorted. And there and then I realized that because no one was coming to save me, I was angry at myself for staying in these situations for too long. Because if no one's coming to save me, why haven't I saved myself yet? And that was the honest answer. It's that, why have I not done it yet? Who was actually coming? And then I realized that emotional standards are like raising a child, right? Carefully, intentionally, and without negotiation. But now I'm teaching men how to do the same. I gave you an example of how to deal with anger. There's depression, there's sadness, there's frustration, there's resentment, there's regret, there's so many other things to it. And the truth of the matter is that this is the 3-step recalibration framework that I actually take people through, which is recalibrate your identity before tactics. You lead better when you feel unshakable. Number 2, rebuild. No longer reacting to her storms, but becoming the eye that sees it all. Okay? And then 3, reclaim, which stands for the ability to own your emotional leadership so that she now respects your silence and respect without having to raise their voice. And then rebuild attraction without having to manipulate anyone, because they've understood the essence of not just the dark masculinity, but how to balance that with their inner child, which is something that I take you through in the 12-week program. Now, when you become emotionally clear, all right, women rise with you or reveal the truth. But the truth of the matter is that because of how high you are, you're only able to pierce right through. So it either cuts through the noise or helps you see who you need to see. Now, this is how you become bulletproof, undeniable, not just because of her, but despite her being there or not. And the reason why you're able to do that is because of this. The only reason why I can get you there is because I've lived it and I've told people how to get there too. That's it. That's my superpower. My only superpower here is I'm not special, I'm not this great guy. I've just lived in your shoes and understood how to navigate so that I could get myself out of that space and be where I needed to be in order for me to be a present dad, a present husband, but most importantly, a present man for myself. Look, if this is you and you're tired of this nonsense that's out there, drop me a message on Instagram or just book a call in the description so that I can see whether I can help you or not. But let's build better relationships, especially with ourselves. I'm not in the business of fixing men. I don't think they needed to be fixed in the first place. I'm in the business of restoring their crowns. I'll see you in the next video.